Hi everybody, today we are going to make 3 neutral St. Patrick's Day designs because my gal told me I was ignoring her Irish heritage. Welcome to Waymart Road. Can't put that on YouTube. So let me explain. I had made a garland for Easter and she says, "What about St. Patrick's Day? You're ignoring my heritage." So today we're going to make a couple of things for St. Patrick's Day, even though I'm not a fan of Kelly green. So the first project is a old truck, which I just love that I finally found these at my Dollar Tree. So for the first truck, which is going to be like an entry in a parade, I started with this really adorable flowered ribbon that I found at Walmart on sale. And yes, some Kelly green ribbon, which is left over from Christmas. And the first thing I did was trim off the extra netting around the floral design ribbon. And then I just cut a few little pieces of the green ribbon and tied them into little bows. Just a flat piece of ribbon with a little yellow center. Cut off the extra yellow, and I made about 4 or 5 of these. Then, setting those aside, I went ahead and put 4 of these gold coins together that I found at the Dollar Tree. They come in a bag of about 20 or 30 pieces. And I attached them to the back of the truck and then realized, oops, I haven't painted the truck yet. So after attaching these 4 and securing them with a craft stick on the back, I moved on to painting the truck. And there will be more coins in the truck when we're done, but I thought maybe I should paint the truck first. So, and I was going to originally use the hanger that came with the truck to hang this, and realized at the end that that wasn't going to work either. So ignore the cute little string. So I used the celery colored Waverly chalk paint and just painted the entire truck, except for, of course, the wheels and the hubcaps with the celery colored chalk paint. And it's not Kelly green, it's more of a faded green, like if you had a green truck that had sat out in the farm, it would fade to this beautiful celery green. It would oxidize in the sun. So then I used the ink chalk paint to do the tires, and I went all the way up into the wheel well because, of course, it wouldn't just be the tires that were black. Underneath that truck would be in shadow, and it would also be quite dark. So I didn't worry about creating that perfect circle. I just went all the way up to the rim. And then I mixed the black and the green together with a little bit of gray, and I came up with this beautiful color that would just, age the truck a bit. It took me a while to get it just right, and you'll see later I also add some green back in to kind of blend it a little bit more. I just played with it until I got it the way I liked it. I also painted the rails of the truck a little bit darker, and then I started adding in the gold coins. I may have gone a little overboard with the gold coins, so if you recreate this, don't feel like you have to, fill it with leprechaun poo. I mean, it doesn't have to be this over the top. So I probably should have stopped before I did. Now it's time to decorate our parade truck. Because what's the word I'm looking for? What's more significant on St. Patrick's Day than a St. Patrick's Day parade, right? So this is a parade float truck. So it's decorated with the flowered ribbon, like a garland, and then I'm attaching the Kelly green ribbons, one under the door, I ended up putting it to cover that hole because at this point I have removed the hanger because clearly that's not going to work. So then I just hot glue down the ribbons all the way across to make the parade garland. Oh, and I'm not sure which one of my tuxedos that was. I'm pretty sure that was Danny Kaye. And there we have it. It's finished. Now, I didn't film it, but I did make a little first place ribbon that hangs from the hood and a Happy St. Patrick's Day sign. I just had that cut out on my Cricut, just so it looks more like a parade float. And that's that. So on to project number 2. Project number 2 is a garland, and I went really close up on this one. I'm sorry it's a little bit blurry, but I'm using just black sealing wax like you'd put on furniture just to get into the grooves of these coins. And it really makes the shamrock pop, and it gives it that aged, like it's been buried treasure kind of feel, which is what I was going for. And I did this to all of the coins. I think there's there's 8 coins there. I don't think I used all of them, although I may have used 2 to weight down the ends. And then I cut out these shamrocks using some paper out of one of my paper books. It's cardstock. I cut out the shamrocks, and then I slightly reduced the size of the shamrock in my Cricut and cut out the same number of shamrocks in old pages out of an old book. And then I decorated, after I glued those 2 together with a single drop of hot glue, then I decorated each one slightly differently, just with some cute ribbon, maybe a little bit of greenery, and here in a minute I'll go ahead and put out each one, how I did each one a little bit differently. And I like the yellow because the yellow, adding that in kind of represents the gold, and it also cuts back on that green because, I'm not crazy about the green. I love the one with the little diamond ribbon that you can get at the Dollar Tree because to me that looked like a sash, like a grand marshal in a parade. So those are the ribbons that I did. And now it's time, or the decorations I did, sorry. And now it's time to attach it together. So I cut a piece of jute twine the size that I wanted, and I tied a knot right in the middle so I'd know where the center was. And I used the grid on my cutting mat to determine how far apart I wanted each of the elements to go. And I used that to kind of space out where to glue each piece. Now, when you're making a garland out of paper like this, or anything that you want to hang from that twine and you're going to glue it, you want to make sure that you attach it as close to the top of the element as you can. Otherwise, it's going to just sort of spin, and it might be upside down or even flat when you hang it. So notice that I'm attaching them right at the top edge. And that way the weight of the decoration is going to keep it hanging flat. And so I just spaced them out with the same number of squares in the grid between each one. And then I go over and I do the other side. And it's really funny. I called Becky and I told her, I said, I have just honored your heritage. I did 3, not 1, but 3 really pretty decorations for St. Patrick's Day, just for you. She was very happy about that. So there we go. We have a garland, and I'm going to hang it up here on our china hutch that I just refinished a couple of weeks ago, which I did not film. I should have filmed it because it came out so beautifully. I know a lot of people, they prime and prime and prime whenever they paint over anything that's been stained that's real wood, because the tannins can come through and yellow your paint, but I just love that effect. It just really makes it look old. Like, see, that's white paint on that china hutch, but it yellows and ages so beautifully. It looks very, very French country. But here is the garland right across the top, and I just love how it came out. So project number 3 is another red truck, and I took it outside and I spray painted it with some red Krylon all-weather spray paint that I had purchased when I made a sign for the front of my brother's restaurant, and took it inside and made sure it was good and dry. And I did. I painted the tires, the hubcaps, everything. I didn't tape anything off. I just gave it a great big base coat of the red, because who doesn't love a little red truck, right? We love a country truck. So once I got the red on there, then it was time. I needed to, let's see, what did I do next? You'll see that there are some more of those shamrocks off to the side there. I've already glued those all together into like a bunch, and I measured them out so they would like fit in the back of the truck there. And there, some of them are just the shamrocks, and some of them are the words. They're all the larger size, and they're all aged with ink. I used an ink and a paintbrush to distress the edges so that they'd really pop. And again, lost the footage. Looked everywhere, couldn't find it. So I'm using a silver Martha Stewart acrylic paint for the hubcaps. And a little bit of the red is coming through, which I think was kind of awesome. It gave it a really neat little look there. I did a couple of coats of that. And then I'm using a black Martha Stewart paint on the tires. And because some of the red showed through, and I think it was a watercolor paint, it actually made the tires look more gray than black, which is really awesome when you're going for a really aged look, because the tires wouldn't be black. I mean, they would have grayed from use and, you know, getting soiled while they're being used. And so I thought, hey, a gray tire is just as good as a black tire. So I left it. I didn't worry about it getting too black on the tires. And then I was going to use buttons. You see all those buttons out there. I tried so many different buttons for the hubcaps, and ultimately decided to just use a little pouncer brush and a twisting motion and some black paint to do the hubcaps, you know, or just the center part there. It's not really a hubcap. It's more like the center part of the hubcap. The silver rib would be the hubcap. And then I painted the rails of the truck. And you'll notice I do the center as well, just because that would be either the inside of the truck bed, or it would be the opposite side of the rails on the other side of the truck. But I did the entire top part of the truck, not just those two rails. And then I've got my bunch of shamrocks there that I had distressed earlier. Again, I'm so sorry that footage isn't there, but it was a pretty simple technique. And then I was going to use the same hanger that came with it to hang it. And again, realized later that, you know, my shamrocks are in the way. I'm not going to be able to use that to hang it. And again, measuring it out, kind of making sure that it's in the right spot, and attaching it down. And so now that it's all attached, I'm like, yeah, that hanger's not gonna work. So I'm just knotting both ends of a piece of twine and gluing it to the back really securely. This thing is not heavy. You don't have to worry about, you know, being super diligent about what you're gonna hang it with. I mean, it weighs next to nothing. And here is our final piece. And I've got it propped up on a little stand on my mantle. And it just looks darling, I think. It's just, you know, St. Patrick's Day enough. And so there you have it, all three pieces. Thank you so much for dropping by today. I'm thankful that you're here. And please, if you enjoyed what you saw and you would like to see more, please like and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.